and welcome to my channel. Now, I've been struggling to do this video for a really long time just because I simply cannot make a decision. But the one question I always get asked is, what kind of foundation should I be wearing? How do I pick the colour? What's the right type of foundation for me? So hopefully with this masterclass in foundation, I will answer all of those questions. I've basically chosen two of my favourites from each category, and again I'm going to take you through all of that, so hopefully you'll be able to go, oh, I think I'm more that type, or maybe that's more of a coverage for me. The one thing I must say is, before you start anything to do with colours or any brands or anything like that, you need to know what your skin type is, okay? So these are three questions that you need to ask yourself. Number one, am I oily? Am I dry? Am I just normal? You need to find that out. I personally am dry. I've got quite dry skin. Even after I put moisturiser on, my skin feels quite tight. I'm quite dehydrated in my skin. So I quite like oily products and things like that to be put on my skin, and I like my skin to look dewy. If you are oily on your cheeks and you have quite open pores, then I would definitely say you are more of an oily skin tone. If you are super dry, where you've got kind of like dry areas everywhere, like around your nose, on your forehead, then you are very dry. If you don't think you'll kind of fit into any of those categories and you're just a normal skin, maybe a little bit oily down the T-zone, maybe a little bit oily on the chin, around the nose, that's very normal. If you are oily here and here, that doesn't necessarily mean you have oily skin. Oily skin means that you have really oily cheeks and literally you feel like you're oily all the time throughout the day. So you need to decide which one, or you basically fall into one of those categories and find out which one that is before you even start looking for a foundation. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to start off with kind of like the very natural. If you're very new to foundation, you haven't really tried it before, you kind of want to have a little bit of a coverage, so say like if you're going to a party or something like that, but you don't normally wear foundation, then I would suggest going for something like a tinted moisturiser, a BB or a CC cream. Now this is all very confusing with all the numbers and names and blah. Basically, I'm broken it down to two. So I mean, everyone knows what a tinted moisturiser is. It's basically a very light moisturiser with a tint in it. They're all pretty good. If you are excessively oily, then I probably would go for a oil-free one, but if you're just normal, then that's absolutely fine. For instance, a super light coverage tinted moisturiser is this one. This is an SPF 25, and this is Bobbi Brown SPF 25 Tinted Moisturizing Balm. Now this is a balm, guys. It's slightly different from a tint. It's got more of a balmy texture, so it's quite thick. I would definitely say women that are slightly older are drawn to this. I'm massively drawn to this because I've got quite dry skin, but also when I'm away, I don't want to wear a lot of foundation. I don't really want to wear a tinted moisturiser. I want the lightest possible coverage ever. Plus it smells incredible. This is absolutely such a good tinted moisturiser. As I said, if you are more of an oily one, then I wouldn't go for something like this. This is for more dry skin. The other thing that's really good is a CC cream. Now this one is from Bourjois. I absolutely love this CC cream. Now CC cream stands for colour correcting. So basically inside this product you have a colour corrector. It's slightly thicker than a tinted moisturiser. It's got the benefits of a BB cream, which is a beauty balm cream basically. So it's got lots of hydration in it, it's got colour correcting, it's got anti-dark spots, so it will help cover any dark spots. It's also anti-aging, but it also helps with redness. So basically you've got an awful lot. I mean, it's a 1, 2, 3 perfecting CC cream. And this one's great, but what I would say is this actually does give you quite a full coverage. Not a heavy coverage, but if you're wanting something super light, this is more super light. This one here is definitely got more of a coverage. Borderline, I would say, a foundation coverage, if I'm totally honest with you. But again, it's all how you apply it and how you put it on. So you don't have to put it on too heavy. But at the same time, if you are worried about quite high pigmentation, redness, then this will definitely cover that up as well. So that's a really nice one. Plus, this is also an SPF 15, this one. Now, if that one seems a little bit heavier for you, you can go for a BB cream. This one's from Rimmel. This is a lovely, lovely texture. This has kind of got so many different things. It's a skin perfecting super makeup, so it's basically a beauty balm. That's what BB stands for. So it just gives you a lovely radiance about you, but it also gives you a little bit of coverage. So whenever you see a CC cream and a BB cream, I would say the CC cream's a little bit more about colour correcting, hence the CC, and the BB cream is definitely more about bringing your natural skin. So basically it makes your skin look like your skin. So it's very, very light. So it's a BB cream is definitely more like a tinted moisturiser. Moving on from the tinted moisturisers and things like that, let's go for a slightly more heavier foundation, but again, this is for more kind of normal to dry skin, I would say. I have picked my two favourites, so these are my absolute two to go-to foundations if I'm going on telly, or if I want a little bit more coverage than a tinted moisturiser, let's say, but I know it's going to stay all day and it's going to be great, but it's still going to let my skin look like my skin and look shiny and look glossy, then these are my two absolute go-to foundations. The first one is the Healthy Mix Serum by Bourjois. Absolutely love this foundation. Again, this is supposed to last 16 hours. It's a very, very light texture. It's quite a, once you put it on your hand, it's got it moves really nicely. So it's, again, quite creamy, but covers, but doesn't stick on your hand. So if you are worried about any fine lines or foundation looking a bit drying, this is brilliant because it doesn't do that. My other choice of kind of more glowing and illuminating foundations is definitely the NARS Sheer Glow. I love this foundation. This is probably my absolute favourite go-to if, for instance, if I was getting married or if I was doing some kind of big event, but it just leaves your skin absolutely flawless, and again with a bit more of an illuminating effect to it. So those are my two absolute go-to foundations, and I know they're going to give me absolutely flawless, beautiful, dewy skin. Next up, we have oil-free foundations. Now, obviously, when it comes to oil-free, I'm personally not oily, so I struggle, obviously, to use them on myself because I find them very, very drying. But for people that are oily, I know these work for them. I have tried both of these on myself as well, and I think they're really, really good. So, my oil-free foundations go-to are, I love this, Born This Way by Too Faced. I think this is absolutely brilliant. I have used this on a number of people that are oily and they love it too. It's quite a full coverage, I would say. I tend to use it with a sponge just because then I've got more control over how much I'm putting on, again, so your skin looks like your skin. But I absolutely love the coverage. I think it's great for all day. It lasts all day. It's brilliant. It's slightly on the more pricey range, but again, it's probably more, you know, medium price range. If you're looking for something a little bit cheaper and more high street, this L'Oreal 24-hour matte infallible is absolutely amazing. Now, I bought this the other day, even though I'm dry, and I have been using it a couple of times just to see how it sits on my skin. I apply it with a damp sponge, like so, because I like just a really light coverage with it, but you can get a really heavy coverage with it too, and it is brilliant. It's actually got a kind of softy, more silicone-y texture to it, so it does sit on the skin, but it doesn't kind of go in any fine lines or anything like that. So I would definitely recommend this if you do want more of a matte finish and you are a little bit oily. I think this is brilliant, really, really good. I was very impressed by this. So, moving on, we are now going on to the fuller coverage. So, this is for people that actually really want a full coverage. I know a lot of people do love having full coverage, especially if things like, you know, you go to work in the morning, you want it to last all day, you don't want to touch your makeup. I completely get it. Plus, if you're quite self-conscious and you have bad skin, no matter how much I tell people not to kind of go too crazy, some people just love a full coverage. Now, the ones that I absolutely love and I use in my kit, this one I am so impressed by, it's ridiculous. Now, being a non-full coverage fan, I was a bit like, really? But this BECCA Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream, I love this foundation. I think it's absolutely amazing. I haven't found one person that it doesn't work on, even with people with quite dry skin, but I want the coverage and I want it quickly. It works beautifully, especially if you want to use a primer oil. It works amazingly well with that as well. So probably one of my favourite ones at the moment. The other thing that's obviously everyone's favourite, and I obviously have to mention it, I've got to be honest, I don't use it very much. I only use it when people ask for it. And that is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Now, if you want full coverage and you want it to last 24 hours and you're not going to touch your makeup, this is brilliant. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's double wear, you know, you can literally put it on, it's not going to move. It's very reliable, very sturdy foundation. The other thing that I think is really important is mineral makeup. This is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so this is their new one from Bare Minerals. It's supposed to last 24 hours. It's a kind of semi-matte finish. It's such a nice coverage. It gives you what you want from their customers. I'm sure that they're going to love it. It's really creamy, it goes on beautifully, and it lasts 24 hours. The other one, which I'm going to mention because I really like it, even though I'm not a fan, which sounds bad, I love MAC makeup. I always have done. I'll always wear, you know, I'll always use it in my kit and things like that. The one that I actually really like from them is the MINERALIZE Moisture SPF Foundation. They also do this in oil-free, guys, as well. So if you're if you like your oil-free, then maybe try that. But actually, I really like this one. It's got a lovely consistency on the skin. It sits really nicely on the skin. It's not too drying. I don't feel it's too heavy. It's kind of exactly where I want it to be. It's got a good coverage, but it still makes my skin look quite dewy. As I said, this one is the more moisture one, but they also have an oil-free one. So that's actually the one foundation from MAC that I really, really like. So there we have it, guys. I've kind of given you a bit of a rundown of what foundations do and which ones to pick for your skin tone. Make sure that you check me out on my Instagram. I'm loving an Instagram story, on my Twitter, and also on my Facebook. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye. The L'Oreal Infallible. I can never say that word. What a surprise. Infallible.